It's working. Okay, thank you, Terry. All right, good afternoon, everyone. So I would like to give some updates from our federation, Sifulan Malaysian Access Federation from Malaysia. So at the moment, we are the only one national identity federation operator for research and education in Malaysia. So currently, we have three full-time equivalent staff, and we are member of the EduGain and also REFEDS. Okay. So in regards to the background of our IDP or federation member, so basically for the IDP, the member must be from RNE, research and education institution, such as universities, polytechnics or community colleges, technical or further education institution, and also vocational training institution. In fact, at the moment we have about 140, I think, the IDP members, which majority actually are from the community colleges. Okay. So these are some of the service that we are currently offered to our federation member, such as Sifulan Federation, which is the federation, and Sifulan Connect, which is the IDP as a service. So I will elaborate this later. And also Sifulan Start and Start Connector. This is for usage statistic and reporting. And we also have Sifulan Proxy. This is to support the library remote access. And finally, the eduroam IDP as a service. But for the last one, I will present this tomorrow in more detail. Okay. So I think I don't have to mention about Sifulan Federation. Basically, it's just a normal federation. But I would like to highlight the Sifulan Connect. So one of the issue, probably not only Malaysia, but also some other federation as well, once after they formalize their identity federation, next is to bring the university or any organization to join the federation. So the issue is some of them either they don't have the technical capabilities or competency to configure the IDP software to join the federation, or they only have limited resources, or both. Okay, so to solve this problem, we develop IDP as a service called Sifulan Connect, and it has been instrumental in bringing institution to become our federation member. So I think close to 100% of our IDP members are using Sifulan Connect to join our federation, which is good because we can ensure that the compliance, particularly when they have to connect with service from EduGain, they shouldn't have any technical problem to join, and also within the federation itself as well. So in fact, that this service has been evolved from a humble start. It was a request from one members, and then we found that this could be useful for another member as well. So we further developed this service up until today. In fact, in the previous TFIAM project, which is iFire X-Men, we shared the building blocks of Sifulan Connect, the earlier version. So we develop it using Kubernetes, okay, technology, and in fact, 95% of Sifulan infrastructure running on Kubernetes Cloud Native. Only very a few that still using virtual machine. So the good news is now we think that we are ready to open the Civil Connect subscription to any institution from another federation or country to get connected to their federation. Okay, so means that if they subscribe to Civil Connect, doesn't mean that they become Civil Federation member. Okay, so for example, there is from Laos, for example, if they want to use our IDPS service to connect to Laos Federation, that is possible. Okay, so we are not. Please contact us if you are interested. We are open for pilot testing as well for the Civil Connect. So this is the architecture of Sifulan Connect. So it can be connected with any either on-prem or cloud identity service. I think we have tested with many IDMS software like Entra ID Connect. We have tested also with Google Workspace, with NetIQ, Keycloak, CAS, and among others. Okay. And then from this on-prem or cloud IDMS is connect to Sifulan Connect that works as a proxy to the Identity Federation world, either straight away to the Sifulan Federation or go through the EduGen first. Okay, so even in some cases, the institution love Sifulan Connect. Even for the internal application, they also connect with the Sifulan Connect as well. And next is the Sifulan Start and Start Connector. What is the difference? I will explain further. So basically, the role of Sifulan Start is to collect FTIC information from Sifulan Connect. And then based on this information, we provide a high-level overview of the IDP and service provider, such as, okay, which service that the user actively access to, or which IDP that is the most active in the federation, vice versa. And upon request from the institution, we can enrich the information, because this user statistic is very crucial, particularly for library remote access, because this can be a deciding factor whether they should they continue the subscription of the journal or databases, or they stop the subscription and try to find some other material as well. But some, they need more detailed information, such as, okay, for this service, which department in the university that that has been accessing most, which category of users, which university program that use this resource, and so on. So we enrich the information by connecting Sifulan Start using a Sifulan Start connector to collect more information from the organization database and link them with the authentication information. So, and then we also have Sifulan proxy, which is okay. This is the thing. Every time when we promote our service, the librarian always asks, okay, so what happened if the journal or the publisher doesn't support Simulate login? Okay, so in this case, we develop a proxy. We call it a Sifulan proxy. Basically, is a one-to-one equivalent to Easy Proxy. Okay, that use IP-based authentication, but to log in to the proxy service, they need to use a Sifulan Connect. But we only offer this only for journal or database that doesn't support Shibboleth or SAML login. If they support, then we ask them, okay, just enable the Shibboleth login. Okay, so this is not for all service, only for specific journal or database only. And we also work with many institutions to make Shibboleth login or federated login more available, more visible. Recently, we work with the Polytechnic and Community Colleges Department of the Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia to modernize their library infrastructure. They call it the e-library platform. So basically, they set up library information system for each polytechnic and community colleges using a software called Koha. And also they set up a repository using the space, and also the portal as well. So the student and staff of each polytechnic and community colleges, they can access this e-library platform using the home organization account, which is using Entra ID. Okay, so and they can also do a cross access. Okay, this library is only accessible within the department, within the polytechnic and community colleges only, but among themselves they can do a cross login. And also we make Identity Federation login enabled as well for the e-learning platform. So there are some university in Malaysia already start opening their online learning to the EduGain, such as Usimuk on the left. So you can log into their online learning. So some of the courses are free, so then you just need to log in using your account and then enroll in the free courses, but some courses are paid as well. So, and also we're trying to doing some pilot tests as well for like this. For example, let's say there's a student from University A. They would like to take a course at the University B. Okay, so they can do so. I mean, they can enroll into that course, and of course, to log into their learning management system platform using Identity Federation. Upon the completion of that course, so they can transfer back the credit back to the University A. Okay, so it will reflect it in the transcript. So in Malaysia, this is makes sense because some university can be like a very focused on the certain area, and certain university focus on the another area. Okay, and also some courses that commonly offered by all the universities. So let's say if they don't find a placement, okay, in his university, they can always take the same courses from another university via online learning as well. Okay, so we are piloting that e-learning with Identity Federation. All right, so that's all the update from Malaysia. Any question? Yeah.
So any intention to send your ethics to the Erdogan ethics? I mean, if you didn't do it already, why?
Okay. Yes, there is an intention to share. The only thing is that we slightly modify the FTIC format. So we may be worried that won't be compatible with yours. So, but technically we don't have any problem to share the FTIC with you.
So then I have two questions.
Yeah, okay.
First one, why did you need to change the format?
Okay, because they are, for example, like the university would like to get some additional information, like for example, okay, because the standard is anonymized, the user doesn't know, but the university want to know slightly more detailed information. So
Okay, you need to have
yeah, so
personal
Yes, yes. So sometimes we have to unmask them, but actually recently we find a way that actually we can just split. So this is can goes to our normal FT collector, and this is the standard one can goes to another collector. Yeah. So yeah, we will see whether if it's uh, we can comply with the format. So why not?
I mean, even if you receive, it depends by where you're going to, I mean, what do you use to collect the FTX? Because if you use something like RC slot, for example,
Yeah, we just use RC slot.
you could basically parse
Uh-huh.
the FTX
Mhm.
and rebuild them just with the fields that you want to, and send out
Yeah.
just the fields that you want to
Yeah.
send.
And the anonymized part.
Anonymize,
Yes, yes.
for example.
Yeah. I think we almost send the FTIC to your infra, but I don't remember what thing that stopped us to do so. Yeah, we almost send them.
I will be really happy for that.
Oh yeah.
Because we need more
Yeah, we
federations.
definitely need more FTX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is for Australians too, of course.
Yeah.
So my next question is, what software stack do you use for Connect?
For Cifran Connect,
Yeah.
the core is Shibboleth, and then uh, but we well the software the main is Shibboleth, but we containerize it to run on the Kubernetes.
So you use the Shibboleth as a proxy, more or less.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
proxy. Yeah.
Any more questions for Ron? Okay, thanks, Ron.
Okay.
So who's next to go up to do the federation update? Very quick session today. Is there anyone online who's online? Jay? Jay there online? Can you hear us?
You don't have a mic.
Should turn that on, shouldn't I? Idiot.
Hi, Jay. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Do you have a presentation for us?
Oh, no, no. My presentation is on tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Derek.
Okay, so what's the Australian Access Federation been up to in the past 6 to 12 months? Lots and lots. So I'll do this presentation, but I've got a whole bunch of notes on my phone as well that I'll sort of talk us through just to keep things going. So, update support, diverse data and security, Orchid Consortium, trust and identity for research. What's next? So support, rolling out support for newish ND categories. So we currently do certify and research and scholarship. We are looking to have the technology to implement the remainder of the ND categories, which is the anonymous, pseudo-anonymous and personalised. We're also looking at COCO, but I need to talk to you again about that, just for our IDPs to support it, not for our service providers to want it, and if that's allowed or not. Okay, what's the answer?
That's an interesting one.
Yep. It's just too difficult for our service providers to request it, given they're not anywhere near close to being GDPR compliant. But we're seeing if we can. We have one identity provider that wants to support COCO because they have a service in the EU that only does COCO.
That's easier.
Yeah.
That's much easier.
We're also looking at the ReFED's assurance framework, and we're starting to roll that out to our IDPs. We've updated our attribute validator to support these new ND categories and to now support testing of multi-factor authentication, which is also being rolled out at the moment. We've been doing a bunch of customer roadshows. This is where we go on tour to visit folk at their home, at their university, and talk to them about what's happening in the Federation and to find out what's happening with them with regards to what they're doing in the research space, what they're doing with their identity providers, and so forth. There's been lots of interesting conversations we've had, and we sort of feel ourselves to be little bits of matchmakers in some cases, where we go and take the IT folk, we invite them along, we invite the research folk along from the universities, and mostly they haven't met each other before from the same university, so they have usually a very interesting conversation about, oh, how do we do this, and how do we do that, and can we do this? To which the IT folks says, yes, you can do that, you've been able to do it for years, but nobody's told you, so. These are always interesting conversations. It's also about understanding new customer challenges. And a lot of that's around running technology. A lot of them don't want to be running a shibboleth identity provider. So we also provide a similar service to what Farhan does, a hosted IDP in the cloud. We've labelled those Rapid IDP. And we've been slowly migrating our population of identity providers to that service. So far, we've got about 70% of our IDPs across onto Rapid IDP. As part of that, we've been upgrading to Shibboleth version 5. That will start in earnest once we get back from this conference. All the technology's there. It's just a matter of informing them that we're going to do it and running through a bit of a change process with them. At the same time, we'll be introducing all of the new ND categories, the research assurance framework, and turning on MFA if they can do it. So Rapid IDP simplifies all of this. It means we're in control of all of the IDPs, gives us much more ability to deploy and maintain their software infrastructure for them. And as Farhan does, we then proxy back or bridge back to their enterprise IDP. So we've got majority are Entra ID, then next after that is Okta. We have one Google identity provider, Google Education IDP in there, which is interesting because they don't really follow the standards at all well, particularly with MFA signalling. They don't do that at all. You send.
They cannot handle MFA, by the way, because you can reset your password with your second factor.
All right.
Not independent.
So that's a fail.
Yeah, that's a fail.
Yep. We've got one think it's Forge Rock, is that Townsville? And a couple of ping federates out there. So we've got a bit of a mix that we talk to, but effectively it's just a SAML request up to their IDP. It also, having a single rapid IDP, all the instances are the same. It allows us to do more proactive work on those IDPs and make them better than what we could do if they're still running on-prem. Developments and security. We've got a tech team who have been very busy. They're always very busy. They've been re-engineering pretty much all of our home-built software to live within AWS and to be Kuberneteized or put into pods and so forth into a Kubernetes structure. We've also been doing some verifying of our recovery time objectives and our recovery point objectives, and actually did some testing of that by taking out our test environment recently and bringing it back within those times of 8 hours and 4 hours successfully. And that's something our board's been pushing on us to make sure that if we do have a disaster, such as a ransomware attack, and everything gets gobbled up and encrypted, we can then trash all of that and bring back our infrastructure from backup within a reasonable time. We've also been reviewing our off-site backups following an incident with UniSuper. That's the superannuation or retirement funds for major retirement fund in Australia. And Google basically deleted their whole infrastructure on them one day, accidentally. And it took them weeks to recover all of that stuff back into Google space. It was a pretty messy event for those guys. And they lost a lot of reputation over that, as should have Google. We've been following AWS well-architectured programs and been doing a review of that. We've also had a pen test. We generally have a pen test of our infrastructure at least once a year on various components. And I think this year's pen test was around our rapid IDP, or was it? It was about something. We found we came in fairly well. There's no high-level issues to address. There was a few medium-level ones and a few minor ones that were addressed, and they were addressed fairly quickly. That did actually cause an issue, because one of the issues that was found was that we weren't using cookies with, what was the cookie thing? There's some cross-site cookie thing that we turned up to turn it on, and our federation stopped working. So we had to quickly back that off, but that's just our developers not knowing what the impact of their changes were. So that was a bit painful, and it was a weird thing. It just didn't affect everybody immediately, it just affected people intermittently.
That is update of the browser.
Yep. Yeah, pen tests. We actually are now starting to utilise a tool called CI Login, which is a thing built out of a company in the US, or universities in the US. And that's to do with adding authorization and other advanced federation identity features to our federation. That was also pen tested, and that identified a few more issues, but those issues have been mitigated with the latest version. Registry advisory detailed. Yep, and that was detailed there. So CI Login is something we're using to implement the ARC blueprint framework in Australia, is one of the options. Activities, we're looking at integrating with our SOC. That's an ongoing process. Our SOC's actually run by ARNet, so we're negotiating with them. We also have an internal SOC. We've engaged a company, a third-party company, to provide end-user detection on all of our laptops and other devices. And that will then eventually roll out to our AWS infrastructure, is planned for being next. We've got a SAML proxy for services that can only deal with one single IDP being thought about. It's a SAML to SAML proxy. We already have a OADC proxy to SAML for services that only do OADC. Eagerly awaiting OADC Federation to see what that looks like. So ahead with that. And we also have a JWT, or a JSON Web Tokens proxy that predates OADC that we still have a lot of services using, which also makes it easier for our developers to connect their services to the Federation. We've got a service catalogue being developed. I'll give you a quick demo of that, assuming I'm online after this session. And we're gradually and slowly aligning with ISO 27001 security standards, which is a lot of documentation and paperwork that needs to be done. I think we have the paperwork done. The next stage is going through an official audit type process, which hasn't really been scheduled yet. Our ORCID consortium, so we're the consortium lead for ORCID in Australia. That group is working on a national persistent identifiers strategy and roadmap. So we have now 2 ORCID team members that actively participate in that roadmap development. 100% of the Australian universities, 100% of Australian members have now integrated at least one system to ORCID, one research system. So we're now publishing researcher information about researchers to their ORCID records for them automatically. And that's saved a lot of time when it comes to end-of-year reporting to the government about what research outcomes the universities have actually produced. So you just go to ORCID and generate a magic report, which gives them about 80 to 90% of the information they need. So it saves them a lot of time and effort in generating that stuff. Our National Imaging Facility is also very interested in PIDs to link usage to instrumentation and facilities with research outputs. So we're looking for persistent identifiers for devices, for infrastructure to be developed and rolled out across the nation. Trust and Identity for Research. AF is now official partner, is officially part of the government's National Collaboration Research Infrastructure Strategy, or NCRIS, and is recognised as a national capability. So the government has actually seen us and is actually funding us for some of the activities that we're doing, which has meant we've been able to grow our staffing footprint significantly. There'll be more information if you want to have a look at what NCRIS is on that link there. It's basically all the national infrastructure groups working together, and as part of that, we provide the identity part of that infrastructure. We also have a number of incubator projects. So this is where we've partnered with some of these national infrastructure projects and are working through how to roll out identity, authorization, and other pieces which will make these infrastructures part of the Federation and more useful for collaborating for researchers, etc. We also have flagships, which are programs that have gone through incubators previously and are now ready to roll up to be production setups, with the AF being the identity management system that they'll be utilising. I think we have 3 flagships that we're working with, and they'll potentially be using CR Login to use some of its tooling to provide some of that additional identity stuff. We've also developed a policy framework for trust and identity, and that's being fed back into the ARC Blueprint activity. Version 3, I think they're up to, and the work that we've been doing is being sort of favourably looked at by that particular collaboration. And we're also trying to head up a cyber security action plan. So we won't be applying or doing the cyber security, but just working a plan to bring all the participants of our nation together to work through how to improve cyber security for all of our national research infrastructure, which includes us, it includes all of the participants in NCRIS, and basically how to improve security and for that whole infrastructure. And that's also being funded by the government. So trust and identity for research. With localised ARC policy development toolkit, we recommend restructuring and documenting the set and fed back to the ARC tree project. And there's a pretty diagram which I don't really understand but it's a collaboration purposes and definitions. So it's got privacy policy, it's got policy on processing and personal information, membership management policy, acceptable use agreements, acceptable authentication assurance guidelines, service operation security agreements, and incident response procedures. And I expect that incident response procedures will be sort of an extension to certify that we're already doing. And underneath all of that is a risk assessment piece. So all of that's being worked on and documented and being part of the framework that we're rolling out to our partners in the NCRIS. Some of the projects that we're involved in, we've got the Guardians, which is the genomics uplift for Australia through research and data infrastructure at national scale. It's got some success criteria, so deployed identity and access management systems connected to other sub-projects, support single sign-on with institutional credentials, authenticate users not affiliated with AF, included international researchers, and that's a very challenging piece of how do we bring non-AF users into these infrastructures. A lot of commercial players in this space, a lot of government players who aren't part of the AF. How do we get them to participate in these research initiatives without being part of the AF? So there's a lot of work that we're doing in that space. Support standards authorisation mechanisms. The next one's Cadre, which is discover and apply for social science data sets. So that's a simpler project, but there are a whole lot of social science data sets that are scattered all across Australia. How do we bring those together and provide a mechanism to provide access, authorised access to those data sets? And there's a whole lot of issues around those data sets. Varying issues. Some have to do with cultural issues, particularly for our Aboriginal folk who have some very specific cultural needs when it comes to data sets that they own. And a lot of those folk tend not to have identities as well. So how do we get them identities, or how do we get their family members or others access to these data sets, or give them the ability to provide or enable access? We've got our PAWSI Supercomputing Centre, or Research Centre. So this is a research centre which lives in Western Australia. The other one is the NCI, which lives in Canberra. So we have two national research data centres. As of this year, they are looking at merging into one. I'm not sure what that's going to look like, but the government is sort of forcing them, or not forcing them, it is encouraging them to work together, to collaborate together. And as part of that, we'll be working with them to explore AAF authentication for command line tools, which is always interesting, taking federation out of the web space into HPC. But we've got our teams working on some interesting ideas. And again, our national imaging infrastructure, the use of PIDs to connect instruments, usage with research outputs and outcomes. So we're spreading ourselves across a lot of spaces to meet the needs of being a NCRIS facility. So AF is great, but what do we do about people that aren't in the AFs, that aren't subscribers? When we've been out and about talking to our members and our non-members, we're finding that 30 to 60% coverage within research communities is provided by the AF. So there's a big gap there of 70 to 40% of folk who aren't in the AAF who need access to these infrastructure and research communities. So that's a big problem that we need to work through and find solutions to provide this access to people who aren't part of the AAF. And it's a problem for 100% of the research communities. No research community does not have a partner or a community member that is not part of the AAF. So how do we either grow the AAF or have a mechanism to bring in non-AAF members into the Federation and remain sustainable? So that's the official side of things. Now for my list, which is fairly big. So we've increased our focus. So our initial focus was on federation. We've been doing federation since 2009. We're also the ORCID Consortium lead. We've been doing that for a number of years. We have a verified solution which allows students to be verified by commercial providers to provide cheap access to lifestyle type things like food, clothing, music and stuff, which gives students a bit of a break on their budget by allowing them to get discounts. We've got Rapid hosted IDP, so our Rapid or our IDP in a cloud solution. And our newest focus is on NCRIS and the NCRIS facilities. It's all the national infrastructure stuff. The AF has grown significantly. We're now more than 30 staff members in the AF just running the Federation, which is a horrendous number of folk, and that has now caused us to ramp up our HR sort of section. We've had a whole lot of HR training this year, which has been wonderfully fun. And we've now got handbooks that we provide for new employees that join the AF to take them through what it means to be part of the AF as an employee, and a whole bunch of policies that they need to understand when they join the AF as a team member. We've had a reorganisation of our teams and a slight rebranding. We're not just orange primarily anymore, we're now orange and purple. If you look at our website, and you'll see even this screen, it's got a background, can't really see it, it's a very purpley background, but our logo is still the original orange Australia, the burnt orange. We've got funding from 3 sources now, actually, yeah, 3 sources. Our subscriptions, we still run our subscription model, so we charge our members to participate in the Federation and to participate in ORCID. We now have some government funding, and that's an ongoing challenge to continue to get that in. And we have our verification service. So we charge for every time a student logs into, say, Spotify and verifies themselves, we get 38 cents. So it's not much, but if you times that by lots of students getting verified to get access to Spotify, to get their cheap pizzas or to get their cheap clothing, it soon adds up. So we basically, I think, fund a whole full-time effective person out of that funding itself. And it's not just us in Australia that use Verifid, but we've also got the UK Federation is also using Verifid to verify their students into services that their folk want to provide. Our technology, we've got our Federation Manager, which has been completely rebuilt from the ground up with new technology, and it continues to grow, and more facilities and services are provided out of that. We've had a bit of a dabble with the MDQ or metadata query protocols, and have an initial version of that for distributing metadata. We support SAML, OADC, JSON Web Tokens, EduGain. We're implementing most of the refed specifications. We now have a service catalogue to speak of. It's not full yet, but we've started to work on that. And Federation tutorials, Federation reporting. And yes, we will be providing you FTIX one day, David. Problem with us is that we pump ours into AWS using not, what's it called? Not the standards that you use. We don't we've got some magic stuff that pushes stuff into AWS. So we've then got to reconfigure it to pump it out to you through whatever mechanism you sort of slurp it up. So I'll continue on the guys about making that happen. We've developed a whole bunch of tutorials, and that's also part of our increased activity about training people how to actually connect to the Federation. We're supporting research through implementing the ARC blueprint, common framework, technology and policies, using KeyCloak or CO login to do that. It provides authorization, identities for non-IAF members, identity joining, identity onboarding. We also do training, knowledge sharing and roadshows. We've got our incubators and our flagships, and we've now got a new position called our innovation guy. I'm not sure what John's new title is. I don't think he knows yet. But we have a person specifically involved in innovation who's dedicated to innovation. And he's got a big interest in verifiable credentials and how that will affect federations into the future. And we're also interested in federation as a service, so providing smaller federations. And that's me. Lots and lots of stuff happening in the IAF. So any questions about what's happening in the IAF? Yep. Sure.
You mentioned about exploring authentication for supercomputing and command line tool in supercomputing resources.
Yep.
Yes. So my question is, what authentication technology do you use as authentication for command line tool?
Yep. I'm not fully aware of all the stuff they're doing, but I am aware that of some of the things. One of the things is the issuing of SSH keys through Federation. So somebody logs in, they then either publish their SSH keys to the infrastructure, and that's put into some sort of directory server and then used by the SSH or by the HPC. So it's just basically register your credentials, your secondary credentials through that. So you need to be a Federation member, or it will generate a set of SSH keys for you to use. It's not the most cleanest method because it's really hard to know when a person's stopped using those or is not entitled to use those keys anymore. So the next one is using some web-based tools that basically put HPC behind the web. I can't remember the actual name, Jupyter Notebooks and that sort of thing. So putting Federation in front of Jupyter Notebooks, so you authenticate through the Federation to your Jupyter Notebooks, which then let you access the thing in a web-based sort of model, but it's sort of like SSH in the web. So it's not the cleanest, but it works. The other one I think that they've been talking about is a, what do they call it? A authentication module. Oh, my Unix is going, I'm getting old. Starts with P. Basically, it's a plugin that you can put into a Unix box which allows you to offload the authentication. I think Duo do it for some of their multi-factor authentication for SSH. So you can do that sort of stuff. And I think there's another mechanism which I'm completely unaware of, but they have talked at me about this stuff and I should be more aware of it. So there's some things. We did originally have a look at the moonshot stuff that came out of the UK. That was years ago, and that looked just way too difficult. And there was real issues around privacy and other stuff on that one. So we've abandoned that. We also looked at setting up some sort of radius server as a sort of authenticator that SSH could do, but again, there was some real issues around privacy because you'd have to use the shibboleth, non-web-based shibboleth authentication to do that, and we abandoned that a couple of years back again because of privacy concerns. People could come in and access that, set themselves up, and not have to consent for, or not have the ability to consent for attribute release as part of that process. So it's a tricky one, but we're still working and bashing our heads against it.
Peter, do you remember what?
Yes, about SSH also there are at least two projects. One is based on SSH certificates. That's probably you were about to mention.
Yep.
That has been developed by APAN.
Short-term certificates.
Yes, with short-term certificates.
Yep.
So basically you have an SSH-based certification authority, and then you have short-term certificates that can be issued. For example, I mean, you choose how to issue these certificates.
Yep.
But one example is exactly what we're talking about, like federated authentication to obtain an SSH certificate that you don't need to upload to a directory server because it is signed
Okay,
by a public, well, not a public, but
by the authority.
certificate that then you can use to authenticate the certificate itself, the key that belongs to the certificate. And there is another project that has been developed by KIT that is based, and maybe that one of those you were citing for command line, where basically you can use an OpenID Connect token in order to authenticate instead of username and password.
All right.
But that needs to, I mean, you need to, as moonshot, you need to modify the client, which is not
Yep.
super optimal most of the time.
All right.
And the SSH certificate-based solution is also a bit limited because it has only one level, which on the one hand is a good thing because you're not going to go into the hell of UKI's hierarchy, but having only one level is not the most easy thing
Yep.
to manage.
I remember what I was trying to think of. There's a PAM module that we've been looking at as well, which allows you to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Again, yeah.
But that's only half the issue with the HPC, because you've also got to put, there's an identity management, you've got to put the account onto the system or have the account details available to the system to be used while the person's actually logged into the box. So it makes it even more confusing.
So that is what your HPC has been working for over the last years.
Yep.
To have a system for that.
Yep. Okay, any other questions on what the IAF's been up to? Okay, any other updates? I have one, but because the guy's not here, I was talking to him at morning tea. So Taiwan is very interested in now putting up an identity federation. Yep. Oh,
Who?
yeah,
Who?
you're the
Taiwan.
man. Oh, sorry.
Okay, hello guys. I'm Mark from Taiwan.
You want to come up here?
Okay. I don't need.
Okay.
Actually, the story is that about 4 months ago, I got a message. I got an email say that because my school is one of the member of ORC ID, and we found we are on the member list, but we cannot log in or sign in into ORC ID website because there are only two sign-in option. One is from I think Google, and the second is from your institute. And we log in with our school's email. They say, oh, they cannot find our research institute, and we really dig into the reason. And we found that, oh, ORCID is a part of Federation service in EduGain. So now why I'm here. Because our library's boss say that why we are here, but we cannot log in. You guys need to fix it. So this is the new proposed. I think it's proposed again in Taiwan. Saying now we want to join EduGain project in this year. So in very beginning, because some reason that Taiwan didn't join, and now we found another entrant to host this task. Say so I think we will we will create Taiwan Federation from Academic Sinica. So I think the first member will is my school, National Yangming Jiao Tong University, because we want to fix that we cannot log in into ORCID. Yeah, so that's it. So hope maybe next APAN or the next I can say that, oh yeah, I'm part of you. That's it. Oh, because we are still in very beginning stage, so for now we are not facing any technical problem because it's just proposed and we need to guard our boss say that, oh, you guys got to do it, and I think that will be the real problem will pop up. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
You said Academica Sinica will be the operator?
Yeah, I think the federation will operate in Academic Sinica from ASGC. Okay.
Under the umbrella, yeah.
Huh?
Under the umbrella of the NREN.
Umbrella? I don't think so because actually there are three NREN in Taiwan. One of it is they response to senior high school, and the other is for the university, and the other is for research institute. In the very beginning, we asked for the maybe for the high school or university one to help, but they say, oh, no one say that they need edu gang. We already have edu room. Why we need to join another one? And then actually our edu room is operated by one of university school computer center, and they say there is a I won't say that it's stressing, but no one wants to do that. But until last year, we finally have an official reason that because there are 6 universities in ORCID member list, but we all cannot log in. So we need to build up edu gang, and then maybe in join us, and we finally can use the edu gang service. I think so because I think we are how do I say promote ORCID in Taiwan. So there is a good reason to push us to join edu gang. Yeah. So I hope we can maybe at least start this year. Yeah. So.
Do you already have a plan?
Actually, I think yes, but actually the ASGC Erica Yang cannot be this session, so he sent me to here. But actually, we write the mail to Jiang, and I got a reply from Leonardo Marino said, oh, thanks you interested for. Oh yeah. So all found oh no yeah, we need to join edu gang. Ah okay.
With the admin service instead of the, but yeah, we can talk later.
Oh, wonderful, thanks.
Academica Sinica, you said this Eric Jan who will do it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
No, but I mean, I'll be in Taipei with Eric Jan in 2 weeks' time, so we have an education.
Will you join ISGC?
Yes.
Ah, yeah, wonderful. Maybe I can meet you 2 weeks later. Okay.
So on Monday there are a day on education, but especially on security.
Also, we can figure out in Taipei. Okay, wonderful. Oh. Okay. That would be nice. Okay, thank you. Because I think the topic is because for this issue is be put into suspend for so long, so it will be restart this year. Yeah. But actually, for me, I have no experience about SEMO, because in my school I think I just searched on our education administration. They provide the SSO service in Taiwan, all based on OIDC. So I think SEMO maybe just the technical thing we need to figure out. So, but it still needs some time to, they read the document or convince others. Say, oh, we need to build another service, SEMO, to do that.
I would suppose being inclined, if you're now using already OpenID Connect, put in a proxy or something like that. Don't ask them to go to SAML, because that's a way back. Don't.
Oh, it's just do a proxy?
Oh. Simple SAML and do something in front.
Also, subscribe simple and connect, solve your problem.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, I will bring this message back.
Yeah, no, but
We can use a proxy, just a proxy, please, please.
I'm serious. If you're now having an ISP or anything that uses ONDC, don't ask.
Okay,
for
okay.
native SAML.
No, it's not time.
Yeah.
No, that's a waste of time and energy.
But someone, the people that will have to operate the proxy
Yeah, somebody,
Mhm.
need to have the knowledge.
yeah, somebody has to do that
Most
heavy
people,
lifting.
not everyone.
Yeah, I think that's the problem that in the other two enron, I think no one do this. Do the identity provide service in the other two enron? I think only maybe academic Seneca have. Because other all, I think they operate by the company. They just pay, and
So the protocol translation via proxy is the easiest way forward. It's much easier than,
Don't bother.
no.
okay.
In the future, somewhere in the future, we will go to OADC with OpenID Federation,
Okay.
but that is in the future.
For any definition.
Yeah, we don't know where the future is and when the future is, but we know that will happen.
So,
Okay.
You've done the first step. You've introduced yourself to the community.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
And you got the contacts that you can continue.
I think we just stuck at the paperwork. I think will be fixed maybe the near future, and we will boost up to do that. Yeah, because actually I already done every research from the Jiang wiki or edu game project wiki or blah blah blah, but I still need someone who have power and authority to say, go to do that.
Yeah, that's another issue.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, well.
But
You have, somebody has to put in the willingness to.
But at least now we have the reason because there are one client say we need it. Yeah. So
As I
it.
usually say, you always need a killer service.
Yeah. So.
And I hear you got that now. The hard part is getting approval from the organization perspective. The next hard part is you really, really need to write a policy.
Right. What?
Write a set of policies.
Oh, policy,
for
right.
federation.
Yeah,
And there is, things are already there. You need to just look at them, making your own, and continue. But that, the policy part takes time. That is the hard part. Technology part is quite simple, but policy-wise it takes time. So start by policy.
Okay.
Reference template.
Yeah,
Reference.
it's a
Okay. Oh, we have reference template.
Reference have got a template for the federation rules.
Oh, is oh.
Yeah.
So where can I find the template?
I'll tell you later.
Ah,
It's not my slides.
I appreciate it.
We do have one question from the video channel.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank you. Oh, it's Brooke. Thanks, Brooke. Okay, do we have anyone else who would like to give a presentation? So Brooke says, give the guy from Taiwan my details and tell him I'm available for rent.
Yeah, yeah. Get a grey ass and no ass from it.